All right, good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to make a little video about an article I read from the New York Times about a woman named Michal Zernowitzki who's running for the Knesset in Israel for the Labor Party, which is a strange thing considering she's a woman who wears a sheitel. And she was talking about how she's from the new haredim that, want to, be part of the modern society, but also maintain their Haredi identity. And there are a lot of people like this, and I mean, I'm not authentic Haredi. I'm about tshuva, but if to a certain extent I'm from that chutzer of the new haredim, I do things, a lot of things very modern, but that's because it's more because where I came from. But I certainly can see that there's there's room for different types of people like this. And there's room, elu v'elu.
God forbid. Why is he turning to a werewolf right now?
So, with this being said, with the elu v'elu, why would I still be uncomfortable with the leftist, and I can see what's going on. This lady, she wants things a certain way, and so she feels a certain connection to the Labor Party. And she said when she was younger, she was more right wing, and then she became more left wing. And the thing is, I don't understand becoming left wing. I can understand someone who is more conservative becoming more liberal, and someone who's more liberal becoming more conservative. But I can't understand anybody becoming left-wing, except a politician. A politician, you're going to gain power from being left-wing. And so she is a politician. I understand that. She's looking for power. But there's nothing in anybody's benefit to be left-wing. It's except for the politicians who are trying to amass more power. And, these types of things, the issue is, in Israel, the mix of politics and religion is so strong that and this was something they were talking about in this article, is how she's going against her rabbis, and many of the Haredi community, they're going against the status quo of the rabbis. This happened, and the thing is, I don't know, in America it's a little different. You have askonim, not really rabbis, who are, and the rabbis might sign off on something that askonim get involved with. But it's not really the rabbis who are making these types of decisions, which it's not supposed to be that way, but that's how it is. And it seems like in Israel it's the Zelbazach. It's the same thing. But, when we're talking about here, and I haven't really thought this out so clearly, it's just this is my first reaction. That's how I usually make these types of videos. Here you have... Right, she's not the first Haredi person to be involved with the Labor Party. The Baba Sali's son, I think, the Mayor, Baba Meir, he's a big Labor Party guy, and he's their Rebbe, he's their tzaddik, and he's a little controversial, and I don't know how much of a tzaddik he is. His father was the tzaddik Yisrael Olam, was a Bal Maifis or everything, but so. These are, part of the issues that we face, So it's interesting, but so this is a little bit different, maybe you might want to say, there's a difference. He didn't actually run for office. It's just that he was, a gefleck gave him bruchas, for the labor people. It's a little different, but and he had the political connections that he also amassed, material gains from that as well. But I can see there are issues in Israel, but part of the problems that we have is that, that people, the lack of individualism, I think, is really the issue altogether, everywhere. Meaning you have whether you're talking about these the political parties and so forth, and meaning the people, they're not really thinking for themselves, and also the amount of government control that there is in Israel. I'm always incredulous to Dennis Prager. He someone asked, well, do you care what Dennis Prager says? Apikoros, and he's not Nebuch in Apikoros. He knows better. He learned in yeshivas a shtickle, and he bedavka. He's not Apikoros like bedavka. He should know better. He's not even though he's an Amoritz, but he's not. But he's an Amaritz to the Yedea Sefer, and he should stick to other things and try to stay away from religious issues. But they're really none of his business. But all this being said, no, Dennis Prager. So he's always talking about how he has no problem with liberalism. He considers himself a classical liberal. His problems with leftism, and then he'll say something like, the barometer if someone's a liberal or a leftist is their support for Israel. He said liberals generally will support Israel and leftists won't. But the thing is, Israel is a leftist country. Be'etzim, it's a Marxist country. Be'etzim, it's a socialist country. Be'etzim. The whole kibbutz movement is all socialism. So many things in Israel are extremely socialized. So he doesn't see the leftism of Israel. I don't understand. It's hard for me to understand. And I understand it's all emotions. And the thing is, a guy who waves a banner of intelligence and wisdom and so forth, and many things he's good at what he is, and I'll still listen to him. For him to say that for his support of Israel is strange. I can't imagine if he weren't Jewish, if he would still have this type of support for Israel. I don't know exactly what his support for Israel is. In what sense? Against the Palestinians? Anyone with common sense sees that Israel's the lesser of two evils there. But so what? So as an American ally, the same thing. It makes sense strategically for America to have such an ally. Israel as an ally, but as a Jewish state, I don't see it. I don't see, and certainly, all right, someone's religious Zionist is that, but the Marxism, the socialism of Israel, why would you be supporting Israel? I don't understand. What else can we talk about here? So someone brought this up in the issue of, maybe this will improve the haredim education system, education for the haredim. Maybe this will improve it. That a person like this will, and that's the problem, that it's everywhere. It's always these types of problems. Wherever you go, someone who is identifying the big problem of identity politics is that someone with an identity generally can do much more damage than someone who's the opposite of that identity. What do I mean? Meaning, sometimes a Republican will be able to get things done that the Democrats want to do, the way a Democrat could never do it. Same thing in Israel. I remember Mayor Kahana, he said, no matter who you vote for, don't vote. After he got kicked out, the Kach party got kicked out of the Knesset, he said, whoever you vote for, don't vote for Likud. I had a tape like that, I remember listening to. It was, I think, one of the first times I ever heard Mayor Kahana's voice was this tape. And it's a funny type of thing, It's the same thing. A woman like this could destroy the Haredi community in a way that the secularists cannot. And I think, we have to wake up and recognize the danger of these types of things. The danger. Are you buckled in? I buckled you in before we.
Yes.
All right. The danger of things like this, meaning, because I have no problem with people independently opening schools. They want a Hasidic like a Hasidic culture, but the English is more like the literature give. It's kosher, but it's a more robust English program. So open those schools on your own without the government bossing you around, and in the free market, you get it done. You do what it's a valuable goal for certain people, to keep certain people in the community, if that's what you want to do. And there's certain people who want it this way and certain people want it this way, and you adjust for those people, and you offer certain things for certain people and certain things for certain people. That's but the government shouldn't be the ones bossing this around. Because then it's a slippery slope, because then the next thing is they want to force you to teach the things that go against our values, things that never were dreamt of 20 years ago. These are the things you should teach the little kids, and that's what's going on now in the world. So essentially, these are the things that to have in mind. What do you think? What do you say? Please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you think. Because again, if a lot of the things, there was a video recently in Prager University about difference between a liberal and a leftist, and in general, liberals and conservatives have the same goals, but they disagree with the means to the goals. Whereas the leftists, their goals are totally destructive, and not, and so the same thing is here. I mean, I still have an issue, and even from like what would usually sound like a left-wing perspective, you could say like this, The haredim should be treated as an indigenous people. The Zionists should see themselves as conquerors, as what do they call imperialists, and how are they dealing with this indigenous people that they're attacking? And when I say indigenous people, I mean in the ideology, because even if they might have the same bloodlines, that doesn't matter. What matters is the ideology, and the ideology of the Haredi community and the ideology of the secular community. The secular ideology is foreign to anything that could be called Jewish. And the Haredi community is more or less an indigenous people who, by the way, said they didn't want to be invaded by these foreigners who happen to maybe share some blood lineage. And they wanted rather to live in peace under people who are foreign in the blood lineage also, which is how it was until the Messiah comes. That's what it was supposed to be. And they lived in peace under the Turks until the 1890s when Herzl started his nonsense. And Rav Dushinsky, Zecher Tzaddik Livrocha, he went to the UN and he begged them, please, we in Yerushalayim, we don't want to be Israelis. Don't make us ipso facto Israelis. We want to be, put us under the jurisdiction of the UN as international citizens. We don't want to be Israelis. So these are issues, and now the young Haredim, they're ready to be Israelis, and that's because there has been this attack on the Haredi community. It's infiltrated and brought in this kfira into the community, and so these are issues that have to be addressed, and the answer that I feel to all these things is the American style freedom, the Jeffersonian, libertarian, classical, liberal approach, which is not left-wing at all. And the classical liberal can tolerate someone who's personally conservative, who's not looking to have the government shove something down their throat, but they want to live their lives in the way that they see fit, according to their conscience, according to the dictates of their conscience. And that's how things should be in America as well, meaning, there has to be protection for the dictates of the conscience, both in a liberal sense and in a conservative sense, meaning to protect those who want to live their lives in a more conservative way, to protect the civil rights of the Amish and whoever else, So, thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, tell me what you think. To me, I see something positive in this as well. I guess, that a Cheloni person, like was described here, could feel comfortable voting for a Haredi woman for the Knesset. That's a positive. There is a positive in there from the Cheloni side, but from the Haredi side, it's a big negative. But it's interesting. There is a positivity and diversity. But again, I'm against the whole idea of Zionism to begin with. The idea of a Jewish state, it's kfira and it's pekuach nefesh, and it puts Jewish lives in danger, and it's a denial of God's divine providence, and it's very problematic in many ways. So. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you later. Take care.